Today on the channel, Big Lob finally makes his move with Bradley Big Lob Sanders' G.I. Joe Classified Series unboxing.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another G.I. Joe Classified Series unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got another one of the old rawhides with Big Lob. But for all your Big Lob needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15%. Got to get a deal out there. And we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. And we'll probably throw Duke under the bus, Todd McFarlane. We'll see what happens there. But Big Lob, an exciting one to have part of the collection. The rest of the rawhides with that no good Falcon, Law and Order, Tunnel Rat, Jinx, Chuckles. Don't forget Chuckles. Now we got Big Lob, a new Joe team for a new generation or something like that. But a favorite of mine for that G.I. Joe movie. If you had to list my top 5 favorite movies of all time, G.I. Joe, the cartoon movie, and The Devil's Rejects fighting for the top spot for me. And of course, I hold a lot of weight in my movie selections because, yes, Todd McFarlane, I am one class away from a minor in film. No big deal. I don't talk about it very much. But anyways, Big Lob, a classic character from back in the day. And we never got Big Lob back in the old G.I. Joe toys. I am not sure exactly what happened there. We never got that one. I believe the first ever Big Lob figure we got was part of the 25th anniversary subscription service. You could get him in a baggie or you could get him on card. I have him on card in my collection. And we might have got one since then, possibly, maybe not though. But this could be the definitive Big Lob figure after all these years. And a lot of people said Big Lob was based on one Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the master of the skyhook, as we know in a lot of circles. As we, of course, had Roddy Piper, I guess, later on joining the Iron Grenadiers with Destro. We had the Fridge, of course, on the Joe team. Almost had, of course, Rocky Sylvester Stallone himself as Big Boa. And apparently there was rumors Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was going to be Big Lob. It fell through, but Big Lob is Big Lob. Not sure what Big Lob exactly means, but he's the Big Lob, and he could be the tallest Joe member. Here, of course, a former basketball player, bringing some of those skills to the battlefield. But we got the G.I. Joe Classified down here. Got the big window box. Bradley. Bradley Big Lob Sanders is his name. So I don't know if Big Lob's trademarked. I'm not exactly sure how that goes. But Brad Sanders, a.k.a. the Big Lob right there. Number 189 on the side. How about that? And I love that he's got that basketball and he's got it right like that. It just gives me PTSD of my dear old dad and I playing basketball in the driveway, and he would get that basketball and he'd palm that thing. He'd just do one of these. And he'd put it in your face and he'd pull it back and then he'd go like this. A great thing to be able to palm a basketball, let me tell you. But my dad was also the master of the sky hook, the master of the slam dunk, and the master from the three-point line. Dare I say he was a triple threat before Shane Douglas, Todd McFarlane. But Big Lob, probably some of those moves. It would have been quite the pick-em between him and my dad on the basketball court in 1987. Let me tell you. On the side, nothing too much going on. And then on the back, Big Lob making his move right there. He's making his move. He's ready to go. Got Jibber Jabber down low. Let's see what's going on with old Bradley Big Lob. And if I'm not mistaken, Todd McFarlane, have you heard this story? See you later, goodbye. That Big Lob, when he was going to join the Joe team, see you later, goodbye. He was well recruited. I think Beachhead initially recruited him, and we know the whole Beachhead story from the movie and all that kind of fun stuff. But he came into the signing papers and all this kind of stuff, and Duke came in. Of course, Duke. You know these stories go back to Duke. Duke walked in the recruiting center and said, "Who's this?" And I think a lot of people thought Duke was racist right off the bat, and I think he is, in all honesty. But he's like, "Who's this guy? Who's this tall drink of water?" And he's like, "Oh, he's got a basketball with him. What's he going to do? He can never beat me out there in the old playground, of course, because they have the Joe playground out back." So, Duke just saying all these things to Big Lob, and I really, truly think that Duke just is so full of himself. He thinks he can do anything, as we have known on this channel for a long time. You guys, the real ones out there. And he said, hey, you want to be a part of this Joe team? You got to beat me in a game of hoops out back. Let's play, you and me, one-on-one. And Duke fancied himself the Larry Bird of the G.I. Joe team. Now, I'm the Larry Bird of action figure collecting. We all know that. But he fancied himself just this baller, this hooper out there. And he came out there and took on Big Lob one-on-one for a spot on the Joe team. And you know, he went straight Rick Barry with it. And if you're not familiar with Rick Barry, I know Todd McFarlane's familiar with Rick Barry. I know my dad's familiar with Rick Barry. But some of you young whippersnappers may not know your basketball history once upon a time with old Rick Barry. He would shoot granny style underneath his legs and shoot it up like that. It was a wild thing, but it worked for him. And it worked for a lot of old white guys once upon a time. But Rick Barry played probably 60s, 70s, before my time as well. But I know the history from my dad, passing that down to the next generation, like I'm trying to do to everybody here today. But he went out there, Big Lob just laughed him out of the place. He was blocking stuff. And Big Lob even told him, he's like, Duke, usually people, when they do the granny style, it's at the free throw line. You don't do that from the three-point court and all this. And Duke trying to whip up half quarters with granny style. It was just ridiculous. And Duke almost hit one of those half pointers. He said, if I hit a half pointer, it's a 10-pointer. It's a 10-pointer. And Big Lob's like, nowhere in the basketball rules is that a 10-pointer. Long story short, Duke got humiliated on the basketball court 20-0. Didn't make one shot against Big Lob. Now Duke said, hey, you're going to join the team if you can beat me. Well, he just destroyed Duke on the basketball court, and the whole Joe team was watching. Everybody was laughing. I think Scarlet and Snake Eyes were making out in the back. Of course they were. And Flint was there just like, this Duke, this isn't what a true leader does. Just another note for Flint being a true leader of the Joe team. And Duke ended up saying, hey, Big Lob, fine, you're on the team, but you got to join the Rawhides. You're not going to the official team yet. And that's how he ended up on the Rawhides team. It's a wild story. I don't know if anybody's ever told that story. It's an old story, so a lot of people have forgotten it over time, Todd McFarlane. But that's why this channel is here, to bring you all the gossip, all the tea, as the kids say, about the Joe team. Big Lob looking really good right here. Let's get him out of the package. Big Lob, though, was an interesting one because he didn't have a ton of talking in the movie. You know, he was pretty quiet. You know, Big Lob makes his move. You heard that. You heard a few other things. But for the most part, he was not a chatty Cathy. I guess he just got stuff done the other way, I guess is what he did. But I always liked Big Lob, and I always thought as a kid, like, well, they got the Cobra Law guys, they got Mercer, they got Red Dog, we got Taurus. Why can't I get this grenade out? It's locked in there with the tape. Some of the stickiest tape this side of Todd McFarlane is what this is. I always said, where are we going to get Big Lob? And we never got a Big Lob figure, which was very, very sad to see, because I would have loved to have Big Lob in my childhood. It would have been nice to go with all the other Rawhides. There we go. See you later. Goodbye. But let's get down to old Big Lob, and he is a tall drink of water. I am here for this. I'm here for this. Let's get down to it here. We got all kinds of stuff going on. I guess let's start with this. One of the things I think of the most, whatever, proper English, who needs it? One of the things I think of with Big Lob is when Big Lob makes his move, of course, they're on that like obstacle court, and he throws that sky hook with the grenade. I'm glad they gave us a single grenade so we can finally reenact that scene. Looking very good here, the black grenade. Don't lose that thing, that is for sure. We do get one extra hand. I guess it's kind of a splayed out hand. Maybe he's playing a little one-on-one, trying to keep somebody away. He's getting that ball there. Maybe something like that. We do got the basketball hand here, which is pretty cool, pretty unique. Man, oh man, his fingers are all jacked up on here. Might have to heat those up a little bit. But it is attached here. Now, is this a starting lineup reuse? We do know Hasbro had the starting lineup basketball figures. I would not be shocked to see this as reuse. We saw reuse from the Gambit figure from the Marvel Legends X-Men animated series. X-Men 97, how about? We saw some of that, and I wouldn't be shocked to see if some of this body is some of that reuse from that as well. You got to get the most out of your molds, especially those failed lines like that. You got to recoup some cost. Maybe they did that along the way right here. So that looks good with the basketball hoop. We do get, is this a flare gun? A flare gun. He's going to shoot up a flare up there. Warning of trouble coming his way, all in black. We do get a little pistol. Always nice to see a little pistol. Always need a little side piece. You never know when you might need to get down to some business there. Looking very good. Then you do got the knife here, ready to cut somebody, ready to slit a throat or two. Looks like something straight out of Rambo or Crocodile Dundee's collection is what this looks like. Silver blade, black handle, big long knife there. And then, of course, you do get the weapon here, the big blaster. Is this like a grenade launcher? I'm not sure. You guys know me. I don't know my weapons real well. All in black, looking really good. Does have a magazine here, and no kidding, it's Sports Illustrated. But in a plot twist, Sports Illustrated for kids, Todd McFarlane. So I guess he's reading all the great magazines there. Never forget when I was a kid at the old school library. Sports Illustrated for kids is always a hot one. Ooh, you got the new issue? Oh, what's Andre Agassi up to today? That's what I'd always look for. But looking good. Love the weapons here. Love the selection. Love the loadout for old Big Lob. And now we're getting down to it. We got Big Lob right here. Now, it doesn't really look anything like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So that's one of those things. Maybe they changed it. I don't know. But Kareem had the goggles, the bald head going on. Yes, he was known as Lou Alcindor once upon a time, Todd McFarlane. That is true. But looking good. I like the face. Kind of stoic here. You know, he's just like shaking his head at this Duke on the playground. He's like, this guy. But, you know, he's trying to mind his P's and Q's, you know, trying to keep things going good here. But looking very good in the face. Like it. Got 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, and a mouth. Looking very good. Got the satchel over the top. You do got a little holster in the back, a little walkie-talkie there, and he's got some more grenades. He's ready to skyhook those grenades all day long. And of course, he has Sanders on the back, looking very good. Got his name, number 14, rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling. Him and Bazooka, they got their jerseys on. They're bringing it there. Where's Captain Gridiron? Can we get him next? I'm here for that. Got the nice belt going on. You got the long holder here for his knife. You got the spot for his side piece. One thing we love about the Joe brand is everything stores onto the figure. That's always great to see. Some sweatbands around the wrist. You got the blue and the white looking good. Trigger hand over here. And then, of course, going down into the boots and the pants, you got the, I don't know, these like khaki pants. That's what they kind of look like to me. Green, kind of army green khaki pants. Got a little wonkiness with his foot here for me, so I might have to straighten that out a little bit. Nothing worse than a messed up ankle because, ooh, he's not going to stand on this one. Of course, I get the one that's kind of deformed. I don't know. Might have to heat that up, play around with that one a little bit. Very unfortunate for your old pal Kyle. He does got some interesting shoes. Not sure exactly. You guys know I'm not a shoe guy. I don't know my shoes, but he's got the G.I. Joe logo on the shoes here. Not sure if these are supposed to be like old school Converses or Adidas's, or I'm not sure what they're supposed to be, but they're a lot of fun. Let me tell you, nobody loves brown shoes more than myself, or not at all, maybe. Now, arms, they do go all the way around on this one. Oh my gosh, Big Lob got some tight arms. He does got butterfly shoulders for an extra wingspan if he needs it. You do get a bicep cut, double jointed pinless elbows, hands back forth side to side, head back forth side to side, also neck articulation. You got the ab crunch, very nice ab crunch here as his holster falling down like a young Cyclops from X-Men. Hate those things that fall down, but you got that. But you do got the ab crunch looking good, waist articulation, big old Big Lob splits. That's when he makes his move. He's also got the drop down hips, thigh cut, leg goes up for that big old boot. You do got the double jointed pinless knees, very tight on those. And then you do get the ankles back forth side to side, up and down. Got the hole in his foot as well. Unfortunately for me, I got to fix this left ankle. It is all jacked up. It's all over the place. Can't fix that. He won't stand. There's no doubt. But there it is, old Big Lob. Old Brad Sanders himself ready to make his move on the basketball court or the battlefield. How about that? But we got his friends, the rest of those rawhides. We got my boy Chuckles, and a favorite of mine too. I love a good Hawaiian shirt like I love a Western shirt. You got Tunnel Rat, Larry Hama himself. You got that no good, as I lose his backpack, he has a no good waste of space Falcon in more ways than one. If there was ever a Joe figure that needed a redo, it is Falcon. There's no doubt. A rough head sculpt on that Falcon. You got Law and Order, two favorites of mine here. Looking very, very nice, but quite the fun little sub-team from the G.I. Joe movie. Finally here in our hands with Big Lob finally getting this figure. A deep-cut character, but an extremely fun character, part of the Joe team. Happy all these years later to have one that's out of the card, out of the packaging, that's in my collection that will be displayed with the rest of the Joe team. So there it is. Old Big Lob. Be interested to hear your thoughts on Big Lob. Did you want him as a kid? Did you feel like, when's he coming? Is he coming out yet? What's going on? A lot of confusion back in the day. But let me know your thoughts on Big Lob in the comments down below. You made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell as we got videos every single day. And then some. We got even more content for you on Patreon, YouTube channel memberships. Your best place to support the channel. Of course, you guys know that by now. There's plenty of stuff to keep you busy. 2 YouTube channel videos, everything early, glamour shots, giveaways, Q&As, you name it. It's all over there on the Patreon. Your best way to support the channel. Sir Paul 64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which is also the name of the podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available every Tuesday wherever podcasts are found, with videocast on YouTube. So for Big Lob, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
Yeah!